this is a really good time for a segment of refreshment. We want to just recap something so that you're feeling it fully. We want you to find and feel and practice the full resonance of this. There's nothing serious going on here. And there isn't anything that we know that you don't innately know. And it's not a difficult thing for you to feel around and find resonance with who you truly are. The source within you has always been present. In this forum, we're making it a little easier for you to find it, but it's always been going on. You understand this. And in the days that follow, you're going to have so much evidence of the resonance that you found here that you're going to know for sure that you understand this. Then it's just about practicing it. It's about caring about how you feel and finding the frequency that feels good and practicing it until you own it constantly. So we can feel you're with us so far. Now I want to introduce into this conversation another subject that you as humans have been talking about for a long time. And that's the subject of unconditional love. But you have been misunderstanding completely, almost to a person, what that even means. Because what most of you think unconditional love means is you see that jerk doing something ridiculously awful and you say, I love him. Because by the time he feels like a jerk to you, you're wobbling. And you are not in a place of unconditional love. It's gone too far before you caught yourself in the middle of it, you see. So what unconditional love is holding vibrational alignment with who you are, no matter what the conditions are around you. It's a steady footing no matter what. Someone said to us the other day, Abraham, how do you get rid of doubt? And we say, we love you so much and you're not going to like us very much after this answer. But the way you get rid of doubt is before it starts. Because if you wait until you're wobbling that much about something, now you just can't turn around on a dime like that. It's not likely that you're going to change the thought. You have to start at an earlier place. So that's why we wanted to demonstrate for you this wobble as it gets out there further and further with more details, more distance between what you really want and who you really are and what you're believing in this moment. Big time wobble in your vibration. So unconditional love, you can understand this, you'll get it easily if you just think about the emotion rather than the details that are causing it. If you just think about how you want to feel rather than the conditions that cause the way that you feel. Just go there in your mind for a moment. Just think about what it feels like to feel love. Without the conditions, without all the conditions that led up to you loving someone, with no feeling of needing to hold the outcome, which right now you don't feel like you can. If you're not trying to control the outcome and you're not trying to justify why you're here, if you're just here, can you feel how you could, if you would try just a little bit, you could find an emotion? So Tracy doesn't want us to tell you this story, but we're going to tell it to you anyway. And Esther's not sure she wants us to tell it to you, but we're going to tell it to you anyway. Because we tell stories unconditionally. We don't give a rip what you think. So Esther and her family were at the Spurs game the other night. Spurs are the basketball team in San Antonio. And they are in the championship. It's the finals. And it was the first game of the 7-game series. And Esther is hooked on it. So they are at the game. And the air conditioner in the stadium was not working. And there are 18,000 people in there. And it was hot. San Antonio. So everyone was fanning themselves and the crowd was having a good time. And they are playing the Miami Heat, which Esther blames them for the heat. So the game is unfolding and it is not really looking as good as Esther wants it to look for the Spurs. She can feel the energy is down. The other team is doing better. The other team is a bit ahead. Esther has seen this before. She's been watching lots of the games. She sees when the momentum starts tipping one way or the other sometimes. And so she's sitting and she's thinking about it and she's enjoying it, and she, like the other 18,000 people, is fanning herself with the fan. And Tracy says to her mother, as she has decided that she's going to clean up her vibration by making a list of positive aspects. Coach Popovich was the coach of the year this year. And we do have home court advantage. And we have the best record this year. And Esther said, you know, Tracy, that feels like an old process. Because I can feel the effort in it, can't you? Can't you feel that it's like we're trying to talk ourselves into something? Can't you feel the strain in it? Because Tracy was sort of frantically going down her list, positive aspects. We've got to help these guys. And Esther said, do you remember the video that you sent me a few days ago? It's a video about the San Antonio Spurs. Someone put it together. It's so lovely. Do you remember that we sat there with tears in our eyes as we felt such love for these men who have come together? Remember that? Remember how they gathered this one from this country and this one from this country, and they all became a sort of family, and they've got this system that they do, and they all share the ball, and nobody's the hot dog, nobody hogs the ball. They're all easy to pass. They love each other so much. Nobody cares who actually gets it in the basket. They just want it in the basket. And so just with that, remembering how they felt when they watched that video that brought that feeling of love forth within them as they watched it, they sat there in that feeling of love, and then, boom, 13 points right away. Right away. Tracy looked at her mother. Esther looked at Tracy. Tracy said, do we dare be so bold as to even think that we have affected this? And Esther said, of course we did. Of course we did. Look at them. They're all miserable. Everybody's fanning themselves. Everybody's worried about what's going to happen. One who's connected to the stream is more powerful than a million who are not. Find that place of unconditional love. Esther's been practicing that quite a bit lately. She's been practicing finding that place of unconditional love. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do when there's conditions all around you that are demanding your attention, but you can do it. And if you can find that place of unconditional love, loving because that's who you are, loving because that's who you are, loving because that's all that you are. And we want to say to you, that when you find that place at the center, that place of unconditional love, when you let the conditions that have been hindering you fall by the wayside so that they are not a factor in what you got going on, now it's just you and what you want and the energy that creates worlds flowing through you for the creation of whatever matters to you. We are not kidding you about this one little bit. We are not encouraging you to try to create the reality of anybody else. But we do think that it is a great advantage to you to begin paying attention to the influence that you have. So you get that? Unconditional love. How are you going to get there? You got to get general. You have to let yourself somehow let go of the conditions that are holding you in vibrational discord to what you want. That really is the answer. You got to find some way to stop holding yourself in vibrational discord. And the details that you've been practicing, the momentum that you've been practicing is going to hold you there. Not because you're bad. It's a law of physics. It's not bad that gravity takes that car down that hill. It's not bad that inertia, it's not bad that the physics laws of this universe operate in the way they do. But it is so helpful when you understand how they operate and you begin going with the flow of them instead of attempting to buck your own current. You can take the effort factor out of everything when you get this business about aligning. You can. And Esther said to Tracy, when one of the other players on the other team, the player, the most significant player, got extreme leg cramps and had to leave the game. And Esther said, we really should use our powers for good. We want you to know you can't do other than that. You cannot tap in to unconditional love and ever bring harm to anyone. But you can be or do or have anything that this time-space reality has activated within you as a desire. There is nothing off limits for you. You just have to stop limiting yourself with contradictory beliefs. You got to get to the heart, and you can. So, do you know you create your own reality? Do you know that it's a vibrational universe? Do you know that things are always working out for you, and the evidence of them working out for you is happening in this moment to the degree that you are soft and compliant and allowing it, and that you're the one that builds the shell around you and makes it a rougher ride than it needs to, but you could soften that shell and it would be a less rough ride. Do you get that? And that what is happening to you has nothing to do with anyone else on the planet, except that you're reacting to the way they're reacting to you and messing up what you're doing with your vibrational reality, that with your vibrational environment. Esther's been trying to find the perfect word because she can feel us meaning it. So she wants to say it's a climate, or it's an environment. It's a state of being. It's the vibrational beingness that you want to work on. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would work on it in these ways. We would go to places that feel good as often as we could. And we would acknowledge that it feels good, and we would try to identify what is it about this place that feels so good. In other words, we would not try to solve issues, and we would not get into debates with people who are trying to solve issues, and we would not talk about problems of others with them, and we would not talk about our own problems with anyone else. We would spend our time looking for that central place that feels good, even if it's something as central and basic as the sun came up this morning and that helped me. And the food keeps growing, and that helps all of us. And the world keeps turning because it is right that it does. And babies keep being born because this is the leading edge of creation. And source keeps flowing because nothing other than that is natural. And well-being abounds no matter how hard you try to find dark corners of the world. They are small and puny in comparison with the brilliance and the beauty of the world. The well-being is dominant, no matter what anybody is focused upon in the moment. That's just a fact of the way that it is. The well-being is dominant. And as you start focusing yourself in those ways, then the details, like our friend was saying, those winks from the universe, the details, the specific details, will begin flooding into your experience until you will not be thinking that what Abraham's trying to get you to do is just withdraw from life and find something simple to focus upon and live happily ever after in a sort of confined world. Instead, you will notice that you have a cadre, a group of non-physical intelligence who understands the specific and intimate details of your desire, who is inspiring you to a path of least resistance, not just for the outcome that you think you want, but for the pleasure of the unfolding along the way. And then you're going to start making these associations, and then something's going to shift for you. It's going to be like a fulcrum shift. It's going to be like a paradigm shift. And if it hasn't already happened for you, which in many cases in this room it has, it's about to. And it will feel like this. The details of your life will cause you to feel worthy. Because suddenly you'll be reacting to the core of what is good rather than to the anomaly that feels bad. Can you feel that shift? We applaud you for your ability to listen with us, because we said a lot of the same things over and over again, and yet we said things to you all day long here today that no one on this planet has ever understood as clearly as you just did. You are out here on the leading edge of thought.